Exactly. We're looking for cold spots. So don't overthink it. Just have some fun. So
I'm being scientific.
Well, that's my job. Have fun. I'll make the science out of it. So with this being a FLIR on the end of a cell phone, so this is what firemen would use to actually go help save people. So it's just a quick attachment for a cell phone. This is not an app you guys can go home and download, just so you know. But you guys should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. So I normally make the joke that I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now, but there are more guys in here than ladies. So I'm not going to use that joke. And Tommy's like, thank the gods. He's like, this guy's cheesy as hell. He's super quiet back there. I got to get him going. So with this one, we are looking for those cold spots like Christy said. So we're looking for blue and black. I want them to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving the arms and legs. That's what I'm looking for. That's what we've caught in the past. Hopefully we'll capture those again. So that's the whole gist of this particular camera. I also have it set up with a blue dot. The blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops out here for us tonight. I want to say we are at like 59 or 58 degrees ambient. So I'm going to be looking for 43 degrees and colder out of that blue dot in the event that we don't have a full-blown blue person walking towards us. So with this guy, so the ground in here can be a little odd. So what you're looking at up there is obviously the different, like that's more cement, and then below it we actually have, like closer to us, we have mud, gravel, rocks. Like there's a lot of material in there. So that's why you're seeing like the variation. But that being, like, I'm not surprised that that's going to be in the 30s and 40s over there.
There's probably water running under there too in that drain.
Exactly. Anything metal is obviously going to pick up the chill of the wind.
That's just like if you shine it on a car. You can shine it on a car, and if the front of it's red, that car hadn't been here long.
Right.
And if it's been here a while, it's blue.
Right. And normally,
because it's cooled off.
Well, that's exactly the reason why I tell you guys not to film cars. Because if I was a car thief,
well, I mean, I was just kind of scamming around, you know, and I was like, oh, look at the front of that one, and see that one, like that one.
We got here a little while ago.
Yeah, it'd be red and blue.
Exactly. 27.8. 27.8. All right. Thomas, you got anything else? I heard water when you mentioned water.
Really?
They're listening to you.
Yeah.
So do I stay at the 25 limit? Do I go up?
Yeah, we're actually gonna like kind of call it on this one because I think we have enough. I'm gonna actually
Jesus.
I'm not
You're
surprised by
Jesus?
that. You are in the holy city, man. You're gonna get a lot of religious terms. Just so
Through
you
the
know.
Bible.
Old church. Yeah.
And then I heard something, I think it said something to the enemy or with the enemy.
To the enemy. What's your first instinct? To the
I
enemy or
have
with the enemy?
colonial.
I'm
There
pretty
you
sure
go.
it was with the enemy.
That, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. Like, why would we get that when we're talking about folks from the 1700s? We're gonna get away from that truck that actually. All right, everybody, let's kind of go back to the name of Charles.
I just asked a question. What's the name of the husband?
Right there, it's all red.
I'm thinking about it. I'll see a lot more than you see. Yours only goes 25.
So, I'm sorry, Jake. Did you say to the enemy or with the enemy? With. Got it.
Is there any way you can change it with somebody?
What do you mean? Like you switch your device with somebody else?
Yeah.
Even though you fought to get that one?
What do you want instead?
I think that one is perfect
Oh, no,
for you, and you should stick with that for the rest of the night.
No,
It's okay.
it's getting annoying.
Does it say HDY or HJY?
It don't take much to
Yeah,
annoy
regular
her.
stations. The AJY would make sense to me. Cameras, do you want to go ahead and give your hands a break? By all means, hit those stop buttons, and we're going to cover all of these options.
The corny tours you don't go on.
All cameras.
I don't know.
All right, guys. So what have we heard? What have we seen? What do we got going on?
Mom.
We're gonna have your finger on there because your hand's right in front of the camera. There we go.
I got like 61 degrees.
Child.
Jake, Thomas, what do we get out of yours?
Child.
I heard
And it,
Go.
okay. Anything else specific? No. Jake, got nothing along the way here. Okay. She kind of told me the heads up on the word list of what was going on there. So, any words being spelled out for us on the Ouija board device? All right, so you obviously know that you're looking for an 8 or more while we're in here, because again, we do have lamp pulse and a little bit of electricity pulsating through here. So guys, this is a really common stop for all ghost tours. I'm not surprised that we actually have a couple of other ones in here. So we all tell the same story, and I was actually going to take this out of my route just because it is such a common thing to hear when you're here in Charleston. But this ghost likes to follow me around. That's why we do the bleed over into the next location, and then he shows up again sometimes at our very last stop. So I'll kind of explain those things in the event that
stab.
Stab. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm still
Yeah, I
that
want
vapor.
So with that said, I'm going to go over the same story that they're going over. I'm going to give you a few extra details, and then we're going to head out the same way we came in, because I've actually been kicked out of here before. I will actually talk about that because that's actually the fun part of the story. So we'll kind of go through that. So here's how this goes. The doctor moves. Well, this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal at the time, and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of those hiding spots. So, with that said, a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the two gentlemen with the red spirit boxes hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. I just heard it. So, if we can get you on mute over here so that way I don't lose focus. And the other piece of that is on your end, Christy, Rhode Island has the initials of RI. We get it here. It's going to make more sense when I kind of keep continuing on with the story. But at any rate, so Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. When we do have a group coming through, gentlemen, you just lower your cameras and kind of let them pass through. Amanda actually has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this inheritance that she just got, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So we'll wait for this group to pass through, and we'll continue on.
Like on an apartment.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So you're perfectly fine. Come on through. By the way, whenever other tour groups go by us, you're the weirdos. You have all the blinky lights.
We the real
Sorry, I
ghost
should have kind of
hunters.
warned you guys on all the stairs.
Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
What do you got now?
Handle truck.
Who you gonna
That's
call?
crazy, because me and him were just talking about trucks on the way here.
I'd want more. Like, who did you bring with you kind of mentality to be able to talk about, those trucks. We're going to let this group pass through, and then we'll finish off. And then we'll have the whole alley for itself. Well, probably about 10 seconds.
30.
You know her? You seen Ghostbusters? I heard something worth saving.
Something worth saving. I don't know where it's at.
Ghostbusters.
So, back to Dr. Ladd. He comes down here to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. On his way into town, he had a coachman. The coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's kind of like having a really bad Uber driver today. It's kind of put it into today's perspective. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. And then somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Christy's Ouija board device. This is exactly why I bought that here, because I was getting the letters RI from regular spirit boxes, and I wanted to verify it. We have gotten it about half a dozen times so far in the past year that I've had it, whenever I brought up Ralph's name. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Doc, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. It's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down. That way they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is part of the reason why I hate this story, is because every haunted city has a cliched whistling ghost. So just everywhere you're going to go has one of these ghosts. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Let's get into why they actually fought. Dr. Ladd and Ralph actually used to go see plays together. They couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor made more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He got better seats. So one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I've said earlier. He goes to the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Pretty dumb and stupid that someone's going to die over an actress that they don't even know personally. Anyway, two gentlemen came down here, back to back, took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots his one bullet. He did not want to shoot his friend. He just needed the courage to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a duel, by the way. But Ralph has his one bullet still in his flintlock, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point that he's still pissed off and he's not willing to forgive. Doc fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He died 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. That's why I usually say, let's get those cameras running when we're down here. But it's not to say that on, where are we at? Jake and Thomas's device that we haven't gotten the whistling part of a song and the word doctor immediately on a commercial. Doctor, it happens all the time. So just kind of keep that in mind when I'm going through your data. I'm not searching for it, but it does occur quite often. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and turn on your voice recorders from your phone and you walk all the way through here without me, of course, on a night that obviously we're not ghost hunting together, just keep in mind that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street all throw a whistle down the alley, me included. And especially since I've been thrown out of here. Are you guys ready for the fun part of this story? So, with that, and again, if you will find whistles, because all the other tours that walk by here, we all whistle. The wall, there used to be a wall up here. The reason why is because it was like halfway between us and Cumberland Street. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So a bunch of cows, chickens, and goats down here. They weren't fried just yet, Tommy. But again, we'll get to some fried chicken later. But at any rate, so the Cow Alley is different because those bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. We all need to see how far we've come from slavery by seeing this brick. There's nothing paranormal about it. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find the child that made that handprint. He's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group of 10, about the same size as you guys, and I'm trying to give them their history lesson. Right, we're just going to pass by it. And they all stop, and they wait for something to happen with the gear that I handed out that night. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen paranormally. Secondly, we're standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So, the new owner of that mansion, he came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at, and she was on the tour that night. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I don't work holidays, mainly Thanksgiving because I used to work for Walmart, upper management. You guys like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You guys have scarred me for life. Give me 1 second, I'm almost done. So, the next day, I called my partner and I told him what happened with the mansion at the end of the alley, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, "You're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. That's the cutoff point. That's the way it's supposed to go. You got to reroute your group because the rest of my tour was over there. That's why we used the alley." So I told my team that night, because I'm sold out again for Black Friday, I don't believe in the next story because I get into vampires, not pirates. We're obviously talking about pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be talking about. If I tell you we're going to talk about pirates in Charleston, you automatically think of a male. We're going to be discussing the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, all right, maybe we'll get something. We go up and around the corner. I didn't know much about pirates, so I told them what I did know. Somebody else heard the number 300. I wrote it down because I didn't know what it meant, just like the 607 that we had from Jake earlier. So the 300, turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
I was actually pissed. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Anything I do, especially with this, has to be factual data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard, which is what we all know about piracy, right? that means I have to read more books on pirates, which wasn't a subject that I was too keen on when I first started getting into this whole Anne Bonny tale of trying to find paranormal activity around her. I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to debunk all of the things that you guys find out on these investigations with me. So I will tell you, everything that we're about to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. That was kind of the rule of thumb. It had to be a common thing among at least 2 resources. And then it is a roll of the dice. If Anne will be there, I'll explain. But that's why I also like to bleed over from Dr. Ladd, because I know he's always around. So that's kind of how this goes. Did anybody hear or see anything? I know Zoe's been eager to tell me something. What do you got?
There's a lot of words been going out. I saw C's, 10, and I don't remember like most of them, but I know I saw C's and 10.
Okay. C's in which way? Do you remember
I
how it's
don't
spelled?
really.
Can I see it?
No, not really. Yeah,
Anybody else see anything weird? So that's it. Yeah, you went too far. There it is. Sees it. Like seized. Like almost like a seizure.
Oh my gosh.
Just so you guys have an idea of what was spelled out. Anything else that was heard of the 2 of you? Nothing? No words being spelled out for us? Alright, so we're going to go up and around the corner. For those of you with cameras, if you want to keep them rolling, you can. It's completely up to you, or you can keep your hands, give them a break. I mean, you actually had it nice and easy. Like, that's a perfect shot, by the way. We definitely want to get you unmuted along the way. And then let's go talk about some rated R pirates. Let's do this. Let's see what we can go get. Wow, quiet group tonight, huh?
Mom, I got Spanish.
Dad joke, nothing.
Relax. Here, look at the list. Short like a whole lot. Just take a deep breath.
Feels good out here.
Did you hear anything on yours? Nothing? Scavenger.
Oh yeah, we did the pirate scavenger. Okay.
I made this part of it? Part of it?
Yeah, you started there, and then I gave you all of the stuff, and then you went around the city to find stuff. It was actually pretty cool.
Just tell me how
You got me on camera?
I got you.
Let's go ahead and get those things running if you don't already have them. So let's kind of be pretty quick with this piece of history, because there's a lot here, so I'll breeze right through it as quickly as I can and slow down on some of the twists, only because the twist can be for twists. We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate here. And that powder magazine is actually kind of what we're looking at. So the little tiny building up there with the crosses on it, those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are, because you're not from here and you didn't take any other tours in town yet, they're basically turnbuckles. And if you tighten them up, it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring them up is because it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why, that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. That's sort of old.
I like gear.
Oh, it kind of works like a gear. So yeah.
Old gear.
Yeah, exactly. So, but those big crude crosses that are on there, again, oldest government building, that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So this is something familiar to her. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you may have seen the Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear that has the blinky light device. Well, actually, Christy has it now. They put one of those in there, so if a child ghost gets near it, it'll actually go off and say, "Ooh, that tickles," and it's a super creepy voice. You know, it makes the whole thing creepy, right? I want you to think of that concept of like the child would recognize it as a toy with this building with Anne Bonny. It's something from her era. We don't have many things here from her era as far as buildings go. So, sorry, Thomas has already heard this. He's probably bored already. So, with that said, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government small building? 10 years? No. I'll answer for you perfectly fine. But the history begins right in the middle of its construction, 1708. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked him out of the country, by the way? There's no airplanes. It's 1708. It's by boat. That's a long trek to get away from an angry wife. You have
I got
Diva?
inches.
Nice.
I got inches.
So, they landed in Georgetown when they came over here. Dad bought a plantation up there, but Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second. I'd like to give you her mentality. When Anne was a little girl, when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore that nothing is ever going to be exact with pirates. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So that kind of gives you the mentality of this young lady as we kind of move through her history.
So, Anne from Ireland is a pirate.
Not yet.
Yeah, okay.
We're working on it. So, 1713, the building's done. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is excited because she's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these days. So the first guy she fell in love with, and I say first that way, slowly, because there's a good handful. We're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn interesting. Now, the first guy was James Bonny. You already know where this one's going because I've told you her full pirate name already. And Dad didn't approve of this guy because he's a filthy pirate. So they ran away to Jamaica and got married. And that's basically where she got her pirate name from. Now, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This guy is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case any of you were wondering.
Rackham.
What's that?
Rackham?
Mm-hmm.
The red? Rackham the red?
No.
Pirate?
Yeah. But you're right on the name. It's Rackham. Like Rackham is the way it's spelled. So, kind of.
I got older comment memories.
Okay.
And
Nothing yet. So we'll see when they start to pop up. Now, Jack has his own crew and he has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of that pirate crew, but you can't have a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So she gets it. It is a man's world. But most of us are adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She is a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So Jack, and you got to give me a few minutes on this one. So Jack, before she starts to show her pregnancy, drops her off in Cuba. And he says, go have the baby over here. These are friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. So to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, to become part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females just like male pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Anne and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not really sure because of the time frame, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to take down one measly pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of Navy ships with cannons. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up a lot in your communication devices. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. So he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front of the judge and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. And the judge could give a damn that they are female. They are still pirates in his eyes. He's still going to hang them. They scream out, we plead our bellies, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know anything factual about her after her pirate career. What'd you get?
I got joint bend.
Joint and bend. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit and say, make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what I did with the Pinckney Mansion site with we have to tiptoe around a prominent Englishwoman. We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate over here. Here's what I left out. You guys can ask whatever you want to, but I did leave out a few things just so you have something to work with on your spirit boxes. I did not tell you the names of Anne Bonny's parents. I do know what they are, and they are factual. So, I did not tell you the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, the name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Everything else you guys want to ask is fair game. So kind of keep that in mind. You guys can ask whatever you want. We do have a good handful of cars in here, so let's just stay away from the vehicles. The largest orb I've ever caught in 14 years has been with that camera at this location, just so you have that idea. Tommy, with your camera, it will act up from time to time. It's been a while, probably a good 8 or 9 months, but we will see like the old staticky snow, like an old tube TV that'll come across on your screen, and then whoever you're filming, their device will stop working. I've seen that several times. He's like, I'm going to make his camera stop working. That's because it's battle of the cameras. Have some fun in this location. Definitely get your spirit box unmuted, and let's see what we can get going out of here. I'll do a few round robins. And you said you had the word most? Is that what it was? And then
I
Zoe?
still have dance.
Okay, I want to see your whole word list.
Mine?
Are you okay?
Yeah, and also when you said like stabbed in the stomach, oh, I got friendship. When you said
Bring up the whole word list.
I got that.
What are y'all listening to? Like an actual radio?
Static.
It goes to all the radio stations. Does it play a song every night?
Yeah.
I've heard some of my like favorite songs.
I want to get the car in there.
Done.
Built nice, so guns,
Could be selling bombs. Could be selling. Could be selling bombs. I thought you said bombs. Sell bombs one day. Love you. I see dead people. I see dead people. Let's see. Right. Yep. Yeah, well, I told them, I said, I'd rather been sitting there dead at Big John's drinking beer, watching a basketball game. Is men's tonight too?
It's girls. 4339 Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Even Clark's only got
Well, that's South Carolina playing?
they already won,
Okay.
so they're in the finals.
That old girls turned them around. They've turned into a pretty decent little team.
They got a girl that's 6'7".
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this thing here don't record voice to it. I don't know, I've been talking.
That's where I'm parked at in there.
Yeah. That's the worst thing about being down here. Is that this weekend is finding somewhere to park. I bet you we've spent $50, $75 parking. Well, let's go to those little public ones like that, because them private ones, they'll smoke you, boy. I see a ghost. I see a ghost.
What?
I see a ghost. I see a ghost.
I'm not a ghost yet.
I see a ghost.
Hopefully don't let her come here.
I see a ghost.
Because it sounds like
Well, it's not about what you're feeling, it's what she tells you.
felt like
You pick up anything?
I think they go.
Do you want to switch?
No.
Because you're hearing like this constant static in your ear. Tommy, you see anything cool?
Me?
Oh, got my suit.
Hey, there's something cool for y'all, not y'all.
What? Somebody's down there? Shoot, don't make no way.
And them white pants, got them white pants on too.
Put this ghost thing away so I don't look weird. No, I'm just kidding.
Said, baby, I'm looking for ghosts, and you got to be one because you look out of this world.
I thought it is down here. I have been looking all day long. Ain't that right, Tommy?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go walk past.
There you go, right there. Look at that. That's a herd right there, hen herd.
I was wondering who's up there, you know?
Yeah,
This is
there's something to light on up top too. You know, any place they can stick a little apartment or something right here, they got it, son. About every one of these stores got one on top of it. He said, "What you got? I know you got something." That's only word gift for. Hey, ladies. Hmm?
Why do you still have your Skittles?
Like mine.
That's her baby.
He's got the word baby. I need you to just don't look. If the letters S and H show up as somebody shushing you, let me know. Got anything going on there, Tommy?
Ain't got nothing going on, brother.
You got some phlegm on the screen?
Huh?
Some phlegm on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, with yours, I don't always follow up with them real time because it's small. I send those videos to YouTube so I can watch them on a computer. Same thing with Steven. You got anything else for me? Zoe, come on over. Let me see what you got going on, and then we'll kind of wrap this one up. Did you guys get anything on yours? Nothing? Yeah, this is a quick one.
It said Cody fan.
No, get the word fans next to I'll explain. So, Karen's, if you haven't stopped them, by all means, go ahead and stop them. I would say that this place is a dead doornail tonight, no pun intended. There's really not a whole lot going on. I think the
Very, very fine. That thing got cold.
don't put anything on yet. What will happen is I'm going to take the rest of these folks over there, and I'm going to give them the history of the space. See what we're trying to find out. And then when we come back, I'll give you a few tips and tricks of what to expect out of the whole.
I know this story. You told me this a few times.
Yeah.
I like the parents.
Also have more cute on there, so it's probably definitely trying to
I
talk
said
about you.
cute pants. and probably cute.
Yeah, but it doesn't always mean that they're together. They came up
Yeah.
separate. They didn't come up together.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how this one's going to go. You guys are all going to kind of have your role when we get over there, but I'm going to need a family member. Obviously, you know how to work this because he's done this before. If he's too loud, which I don't think he will be, you'll tap him on the shoulder. Same thing with Jake, so there'll be a volunteer out of your guys' group. If he's too loud, we do have neighbors. Just tap him on the shoulder. I'll give you the heads up that he's too loud. When we're done, you're going to tap him on the leg. So that way they know we're done. They take off their own gear. Miranda will be able to hear me, so I can obviously give her the direction to take the virtual reality piece off. The first time I came in here, I didn't even know what to expect because all these other ghost tours are coming in here talking about Lavinia Fisher. So this is Lavinia Fisher. She's the first female serial killer, and she was allegedly from either in here or around here or anything. I've never found any documentation to prove that, but I didn't know what to expect. So I didn't even know who we were looking for. So the young lady using the spirit box, we only had 2 people that night. It was cold November. They all canceled except for this couple. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using the word list that Zoe has. I had the name Tim. Behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. So it was kind of like, well, hot damn, there's my ghost. Here's how that goes. Nice and easy. I already knew part of his story, just had to do a little bit of extra research so we could start doing this blindfold session. Here's how this goes. The guy is sick through most of his life and he's a writer. In fact, he's a poet. So the fact that she had the word poet along the way here was closer over, by the way, to Where We Were by Anne Bonny's Tale, and that's more relevant to Dr. Ladd because he was a poet. So again, I'm excited about it. I just didn't want to put it out there yet. But anyway, Henry, he's a poet. He's old enough to go fight in the Civil War, so 1860s, because he's born in 1828. He goes out to the battlefield, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home, knowing he was a writer. They said, go be the voice of the war. Go tell people what's going on out here. So he came home to Charleston, started writing poetry, starts publishing in a newspaper, and became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty prestigious title, by the way. So a couple years go by, and he has a son. His son's name is Willie. He dies 9 months later. He was born on Christmas Eve, by the way, which is a very distinctive birthday. We won't get that even now. So with that said, is somebody else born on Christmas Eve?
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Interesting. So it's a very sad story, obviously, but him and his wife are mourning, and Henry's not writing as much. He has another writer friend, very famous writer, Paul Hamilton Dean, and he says, you're not writing as much. Why don't you go use them at college? Go out to Columbia and get back on track. We took him up on the offer, but that's also where Henry wrote his last words. He goes out there, and his last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which translates to person with short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. The perfect way for a writer to go. However, we are also here because of that blood stain. It looks like a man writing at his desk. They call it the Blood Book, and they show it 1 day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member to see it. I have the internet, as do all of you, so I'm going to show you what the Blood Book looks like, and we're going to go hopefully go talk to a ghost. Here is Henry's last page. So, beholder of brief mortality, cough, cough, death, and then you have this blood stain that they will show under glass at the Charleston Library Society once a year.
That looks like a child reaching like that.
Yeah, but it's a blood stain.
It also looks like a man writing at his desk.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we call it the blood book. It's legendary around here. So when we get over there, if I don't get the answers out of Jake and Thomas, so the answers could come out of Zoe's device or your Ouija board device. We have gotten triple digits out of your device here during these sessions, so definitely keep an eye on things. Both cameras, again, they're not going to know the history tonight, so try to film it for them so that way they can watch it later. Tommy, with your camera, because it's not always super clear, because it's not, it's obviously in heat signatures, feel free to roam around a little bit, but with yours, I definitely want to have you focused on them the entire time so they have a nice clear picture. All right, let's go talk to a ghost. Let's do this.
It's actually really cool. And I got 3 names. Hayden,
I was
Cody, and Kylie.
My how
Or
much?
Kaylee. Kylie or Kaylee.
That boy's ready to talk.
Got ready to talk to the ghost man.
Explaining the spirit box part. So you are literally going to be telling me everything that you hear, including yes no answers.
Go ahead and get them new white shoes dirty. I seen you rolling them over on the side.
Turn up your volume to where you can't hear me. I'll ask you a few silly questions to make sure you pin on it. Do not touch your spirit box thereafter. I want to make sure neither one of you are cheating and trying to like hear the question. Coming through. Don't force it. Just let it happen naturally.
It's cuffed up
So,
them J's,
again, you're
girl.
also going to be telling me even yes no answers because I might be asking the ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting one of you to say yes. Does that make sense? So with yours, you will be seeing images. And have you ever done VR before? Okay, so this is not going to be like the 3D Jurassic Park in your face kind of dinosaur eating your head. So you're going to see a galaxy off in the distance, just kind of floating around, and then a picture will kind of appear in front of it. You're going to describe what that picture is in very simple terms. You got two gentlemen that are going to be talking over you that can't hear you. So again, if you see 3 people on a bench next to a tree, say 3 people, bench, tree. In the event that they're not talking much, I will ask you probing questions. What time era is it? What are the gender of the people? What are they wearing? You know, those kind of mentality. You'll be able to hear me the whole time. In the event that either one of you guys are talking too loud, a family member will tap you on the shoulder. That means quiet down a little bit and try not to piss off the neighbors. When we're done, they will tap you on the leg. That means take off your own gear. You'll be able to hear me. I'll say peel that thing off your face so that way we can all see the images that you just saw. Now you might get 0 images, you might get 12. I have no idea what's going to happen. So we only keep you guys under for 10 minutes. So blindfolds on, headphones on, find your comfortable spirit or your comfortable volume. I'm going to take this for just a second so I can set up your VR while they're getting started and I can ask some test questions. Can you imagine how many phones I have? This one was actually my phone 2 weeks ago, and I got a new one. So I was like, oh great, now I have one for the virtual reality piece.
So we just say what we hear?
Yep, you say everything that you hear. Get started now. So the key's good. Jake said the key's good. What color is a blue banana? What color is a purple monkey? Okay, perfect. Okay, Henry Timrod, I need you to kind of push through and give us something about your occupation while I set up the green box for you to be able to communicate through images. This will be Miranda here in the center. See how you can have a galaxy there? So all you're going to do is look straight ahead. Try not to look down. You'll hit virtual buttons. And when you look straight ahead, it will line up with you. So you can look off to the side at first, but just keep looking straight ahead. It'll line up. This is your focus in case things are blurry. Henry Timrod, I need you to push through. I know it's a Friday night. I know it's probably been loud in here for you tonight. Can you give us anything about your occupation, please? You got eyes? And are they yours, or is it an actual image? How old is the child? You just said the word child. Yeah, they don't lie.
Yellow.
Can you remind me to talk? Tell us in real time. Yeah, just let them know. Okay, Henry, now that we got everything under control, can you tell us who was in the picture? Whose eyes were we looking at?
Home.
And we're not leaving that.
Flame.
Henry's code word for us to leave is the word home, so you guys know.
Together.
Alright, he wants us to leave together. Henry, give us something about your occupation. Starting the conversation off pretty light. I'm not going to take that as your code word just yet, but you know the secondary code word.
God.
Standing on cobblestones. That looks like an egg.
Autistic.
No.
Said autistic.
I would say that your occupation was artistic, but you need to give me something more specific. Henry, tell us more about your occupation.
One place to go.
One place to go. Where did you go? We're talking about your final hours. That's a yes/no question.
Conscience.
What did he get?
Country.
Thank you for interpreting.
You
Henry, what about the last document? What can you tell us about that last document that you put together?
Place.
Henry, what's so special about the last document that you wrote? You got anything going on there?
Really light. They said walk and talk. Walking.
Henry, specific answers here, please. You can give it to us in an image.
Me. Japan.
We'll take that answer in an image. What's so special about your last
Why
document?
they moving so much? They're standing still. Sitting
White.
still. That's them.
Just make a stick
Henry
out of
Timrod,
you.
is somebody else here with you tonight?
So if you see someone over there, but there's nobody, and you see the stick,
Henry?
there's a problem. Do you see any cold
I
corner?
really need you to push through. You're having a tough time. That's some kind of
Have you seen anything today?
I want to know what we're looking for. I mean, it's got a little discoloration right there.
You would say
Henry?
something very, very
Try.
cold, could go something
We're
very, very
trying to
warm.
make any type of communication at all at this point. We don't have anything. I'm asking about your last document. Why don't you just give us an image of what it looked like? What's so special about it?
Trying.
Henry, what is special about your last document? I'm gonna stay focused on this question because it's easy for you.
Death.
If you give us an image of it,
He said God.
or you can say the nickname that we have for your last document, and I'll take that as an answer.
Pizza.
He said pizza.
Pizza.
Did they even have pizza back then?
Not here. We may have in Italy, but not here.
New York.
New York pizza? That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
He might have been sending it right in the order.
Home. Home again. Henry Timrod. What's the secondary code word for us to leave? Like to go home. I'm still going to ask you about your last document. We want proof that you're here, because right now I have none. Miranda's getting bored in the galaxy.
Bracelet.
No, listen, you wait. Keep them focused underneath the first question. Henry, we're running out of time. We're down to 3 minutes.
Health.
TV or TV?
TV. Like television.
I'd be more interested in TV.
You said boat. You said also shirt.
Orange shirt. Country.
Love. Come back.
Henry, I don't know who any of these people are that you're trying to show us. I'm simply asking about your work. What's the last document that you wrote? somebody else come with you tonight?
Thank you.
If so, say their first name. We're running out of time. We're down to 1 minute.
You.
I heard that.
Mitch.
Henry, throw us one more image and we'll wrap it up. Show us an image of your last document. What did it look like?
Car. Home.
Awkward. It's awkward because he keeps saying the word home, which is kind of like the get out.